All right, my friends. Hello. How are you doing? It is so good to be back here on another Friday, a creative checkup Friday. If you're watching this on replay, I always try to get right to everything that is happening. But of course, we'll have people jumping in throughout this live stream on a 1 o'clock start time. Some people are coming from lunch, some people are coming from work, some people are working, some people are chiming in and getting ready to chime in. And so I just want to make sure that we get everything that you need to get out of today's live stream. If you don't know me, my name is Alan C. Paul. I'm the host and founder of God and Gigs. And what we do at our Creative Checkup Lives is we try to solve one specific problem that will help you thrive as a creative who's connecting the dots between your spiritual life and your creative life. You want to tackle something that is stopping you from making it to that dream that God has put on the inside of you. Musician, creative, photographer, whatever you do inside that sphere of art, entertainment, and ministry, we try to make sure we tackle that thing and get it solved for you. So thank you so much for joining me. And I'm going to be sharing a lot of notes today. So if you don't have a notebook or something, make sure you save this so that you can watch this later. You can also watch, obviously, as I mentioned, on the replay. And as you're watching, give me a thumbs up or a, hey, I can hear you, just to make sure we're technically okay. Because every once in a while, I'll forget to turn this microphone on, or I won't be quite as loud as I need to be. And that will be really bad if I cannot be heard all the way through the presentation because I did not pay attention to some kind of setting. So as Travis is joining us on Instagram, we're on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And I also see Jake A. Limitless. Great to see you again. And if you can hear me, all right, I got a thumbs up from Jake. Awesome. So that means that I can be heard. That is really the number one thing to make sure to take care of. And then we can go ahead and get started. And so I am absolutely going to get right into it. I want to go ahead and jump into these notes here because I think I'm organized today. I think I'm organized. We'll find out if I'm organized today. So as I've mentioned in a couple of previous creative checkups here at God and Gigs, what we're trying to do is make sure that every time we do one of these lives that we actually get to everything we need to get to. So we structure this in our Creative Checkup newsletter, which is available every Wednesday. I send this out every Wednesday. Actually, yesterday I got it out late. It came out on Thursday, so it's supposed to come out every Wednesday. And we do this exact same feature in the exact same order. We talk about your vital signs, things that are affecting you directly in your heart, in your soul, and your mind as a creative. Then we talk about lab work, what's working for us in our careers. Then we jump into a consult, something that's going to keep the conversation going. And then, excuse me, I'm already losing my voice. I might be talking too loud, I don't know. And then last of all, we have our prescriptions, which is what to do next. So just like a doctor goes through these 4 things for their checkup, we make sure that we cover all 4 things in our creative checkup so that you will be absolutely ready to thrive in your next step throughout the coming week. So as you can see, we're going to start off with our news and notes. Let's see if I can forward this. And I like this little sign because really this sign is kind of defines what's happening in God and Gigs 360, our membership. Things are opening up. We're doing kind of like a glow up in our membership. And if you don't know what that is, I'm going to share with you a little bit, just so you know what we're doing in God and Gigs. This is our membership. Our 360 is the all around. We cover everything in your life, whether it be your faith, your family, your growth in your career. And we help these people to connect with each other so that they can get the answers they need, always within 24 hours or less, just inside our specific exclusive app, which we have for God and Gigs. And we are doing a glow up. We're getting it all spiffied up. I'm changing a lot of stuff in there, adding more forums, adding more. I actually added some more resources this last week. We had some new members that come in. Oh, I did not update our new membership. I have to add Claudette. Claudette Francine is now back in God and Gigs Gold. So welcome, Claudette. I apologize. I didn't get you in there. I should have made sure that I updated the list. So it is growing again. This gold side is everyone that's doing live coaching with me, and they get access to everything in God and Gigs, our membership. The guests are people who only decided to buy one thing, or maybe they just decided to join as a guest member, and they have access to forums, but they don't have access to live coaching. So they're just kind of hanging out. So I want to make sure that you guys get in on the gold side if you are interested in growing your career, if you're transitioning from just being a gigger, someone just doing every once in a while, kind of, trying it out, to really getting serious. If you're going to that level, you really should check out gold. And that's why I'm so glad I'm going to get this out right now, because summer success is almost over. We do this all the way through the summer, but this summer success, we're finishing it off with a back to school 50% off annual price for our gold membership. So whatever you usually pay for the month, pay it in the year, and we cut it in half. So this is super important. And I finally remembered the URL. I totally forgot this. I don't know if you guys can see that. Can you guys see that? godandgigs.com/summer24. That's where you want to go if you want to take advantage of this. I think we will keep it up through the weekend, but I just don't have an exact date. I just don't want to cut it off too early, but back to school is kind of almost over already. So this is just for the next few days. godandgigs.com/summer24. That's where you can get 50% off our annual membership, so you can join all these folks back here who are getting live coaching, who are getting incredible value with each other. We're just sharing all kinds of tips and tricks. Last time, I think it was Charmaine that was showing me how to get something on my website figured out and fixed, and I got it, and now my website is perfect. It's like amazing because of the tips she gave me inside 360. So these people are helping each other. So that's why I would love for you to jump in at godandgigs.com/summer24. Take advantage of this back to school offer for 50% off annual membership. That is a great price. And I think I have a little deal here. Yeah, that tells you what it is. 2 live coaching calls per month, exclusive web access, all access to 8 years of training and videos. That's right. Pretty much everything that I've done for all the different creators, from Jermaine Morgan to John Mike to Shayla Shanae, to all these people that are experts, creative experts, established creative experts, plus the ones that are already in the membership. You get access to all their trainings, plus discipline specific forums. So that means artists get to hang out with the artists, musicians get to hang out with the musicians, and the performing artists get to hang out with the performing artists. So they're all in that. And that's a 50% off annual price for $300. And like I said, the value is immense. We do have other programs, but this is the one that I recommend if you are really serious to start leveling up your creative career. All right. Also, news and notes. Coming up very soon, my friend LaShonda Brown is getting ready to do her LinkedIn Live Masterclass. Now, when I say master, she is a master at LinkedIn and just making money in general as a boot. Oh, look who's here. What a coincidence. Hey, LaShonda Brown. How amazing that I just decided to pull this up. And Victoria is also here. Good to see you, Victoria, from 12th Street Talkback. Awesome to see you. And yes, the aforementioned amazing LaShonda Brown, who is the expert of all things bootstrap and making that coin, leveraging YouTube and other tools so that you can absolutely have that career that you love. And I am a proud member of her Bootstrap Creators. You'll see my mug on the app if you join with her. And she has this live in LinkedIn Live monetization masterclass coming up very, very soon. Very soon. I think it's next week. Yes, it's next week. So you need to go ahead and jump in. There's not that many spaces available. And this is how she has gotten over $10,000 of revenue through getting sponsored live. So you see what I'm doing now? LaShonda knows how to get people to pay for this. And she can help you also figure out how to stop going after just the gigs, running after gigs. This has been a big one for me, you guys. This whole summer, I cut my gig calendar pretty much to the bare minimum. Like I basically am only doing events that I sponsor myself. which is not easy because it's so easy just to want to do like the easy money stuff. But the easy money stuff is taking away from the time that it would take to actually build something that would be sustainable. This is what LaShonda is teaching us, how to build things so other people become your sponsors, other people versus you running after gigs, running after this concept, running after this other thing, and then running from here into there instead of living less, living more, and working less. Thank you. There it is. She just put the details. Next Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern. 6. Oh, whoa. Okay, so y'all better hurry because that's 6 spots. Wow, that went quick. So I think anyone that's interested in this, oh, you can also save a little bit of money if you use my code, which is Allen25. I'm going to put that up real quick, but I'm going to take it right back down because it is only for those people who are serious. But if you use that code, you can also save some money on that live stream. Okay, so LaShonda said there's only 6 spots left. Don't delay. Jump on that. That's going to bless you. 2 hours of her knowledge could mean the difference between just, piddling along and actually making some serious revenue that will free you up to do the things that you love. All right, let's get right into today's content. And so I'm asking you if you've ever felt this. Now, this is our vital signs. Okay, so now we're jumping into vital signs. And the vital signs are the things that actually impact your life. So this is kind of where I will go direct through this next presentation. I'm probably going to use this for the podcast as well. So I will pause for questions later. But right now, I want to make sure I get through all of this because I want to make sure it works for both the video and the audio. And I want to make sure that you guys get the most out of this. So this is our vital signs where we're talking about how to build and find your dream team. How to find your dream team, the people that will help you to create the career that God wanted you to create. However, still being able to do so on a small budget, on a tight budget, because hey, when you're starting out and you need help, most times you do not have the funds to hire this big and massive team. Now, if you do, that's great. But I will, by the way, I'll be checking out the comments. If you want to ask a question, go ahead and check in the comments. Let me check in Instagram before I get started as well. Oh, wow. Chief Keys, another one of our men that have been in the podcast. Good to see you. Keith is over there. Keith Keys, Richard Barano Jr. Awesome. Great to see you guys over there in Instagram as well. But let's go ahead and jump in. So my question to you is, have you ever felt like you simply didn't have enough time or enough energy or really the ability to have a team? If you are like me, most of us start as solopreneurs, solo creatives. We got to do all the things. We've got to do all the emails ourselves. We obviously create, we make the stuff, we write the stuff, we record the stuff, we video the stuff. And then you've got to actually do what I call the 5 cycles of creative life. So after you do the creation, right? First you do the planning, that's number 1. And then the creation is 2. And then you have to do what usually would call the editing. In this case, I would call it the production. So you have the planning and then the creative work and then the production. And then you got to do the distribution, right? You got to get it out to people. And then 5th, you got to have conversations and you got to figure out how to get everything figured out, what you did, discuss it, talk to people, and then you got to go back to planning again, right? So planning, creation, production, promotion or distribution, and then conversation, and then all the way back. That's a lot of work for one person. Not only that, most of us are working probably a hybrid type of thing where you have one job and you have another job and you have this thing on the side, or maybe you're doing your creative work full time, but that also involves all these different things. So where's the time for all of those 5 sections of the creative life? It's hard to find. Not only that, some of us are super nervous about ever having to deal with one other person or 2 or 3 to manage, because one reason many of us start a creative life and get into this hustle is because we've been in corporate situations, we've been corporate creatives, and we want to kind of get our own thing going. But then the idea of bringing on somebody else to help us is absolutely scary, because I just came from a place where I had to work with people and things didn't always work out. And now you want me to be the boss? Now you want me to be responsible for either payroll or managing time or all these other things that I didn't like in my corporate sphere. And most of us creators feel that's kind of the opposite of what we want. So this is why many of us fear building any kind of team or finding a team, because we think that it's going to be too much work, more frustration, and less time. But at the same in the same breath, we say we have no time to do anything. We're frustrated and we need some help. So if you felt this, I would love to see in the comments as I'm sharing if you have felt this way before. Put a yes in the comments. So what do we do? Well, we need to find these people. We need to find people who will be our dream team. And you know, the first place you can look, and this is something that has blessed me, because let me first start by telling you, I did start as a creative, just doing this on my own. My first, I guess you could say, my music job would be the music teaching thing. So I was doing my music teaching at home, doing piano lessons. I did all the scheduling. I called all the parents. I set up the recitals. I did all that by myself. Then when I started gigging, same thing, making all the calls, finding all the gigs, carrying all my stuff. I think my son might have helped me like load my stuff every once in a while, but I was pretty much doing that all by myself. Then there was, of course, gigging, as I just mentioned, and then even into podcasting, God and Gig Show, solo podcaster. I had a co-host, but I still handled all of the work, doing all of the editing, doing all of the promotion, all of that stuff came straight from me. So I know what it's like to simply be stuck in that one size fits all, doing all the things, until I realized I was burning myself out. One, two, I really couldn't have this thing grow any bigger. And then as God was putting more on my plate, music and podcasting, and ministry, how in the world could I keep all these things going? Much less what I'm doing now, which is several podcasts. And I'm also doing several different brands inside of our church and other areas where I'm actually managing several different things at once. How in the world could I do that by myself? Here's the answer. I can't, and neither can you. No matter what your sphere of influence is, whether you're working on one project, two projects, whatever it is, if you have your hands in all the things, you are the lid of your business. You are the lid of your growth. There's this law of the lid that John Maxwell talks about. And it's really a leadership concept, but it's also a business concept. As long as you are the only person there, your capacity is the limit that you will reach. And that's the capacity of your business until you get help. I was the same way. I was the capacity limiter. As long as my cup was already full, there was no room for anything else, which meant no other work got done. And there was no way I could have any room for the blessing that God was going to bring. So what did I have to do? I had to reach out, get past myself, and look for a dream team. So I'll tell you, as we go through these three ways that I found my dream team, I'm going to share some of those examples so you see how this works together. So first, I found my dream team inside my own community. So I know some of you immediately thought when I said, oh, find your dream team, you immediately thought, let's go hire people, right? I got to go hire people. I got to go on Fiverr. I got to do these other things and pay people. Well, the first thing I learned is that your best people to become part of your team are already usually on your team. You just don't know it yet. You see, the people that have now become like a linchpin in my business and in my creative life. By the way, forgive me, there's somebody that's just feels like being a hot rod over here and is driving super loud and super fast. But the thing that I learned quickly was that simply asking those people inside the community were the people that became part of the dream team. And so I love this part because I get to shout them out right now. Some of them that are now part of the team are right here in front of you. Now, neither one of these people are actually, I would say, employees, contractors, anything like that, but they are just as much part of my team as anybody else would be. Now, Simony here and Michael Hughie, they were number one on the podcast before, but Simony I've known forever. Simony has been such a friend of God and Gigs. But when I realized she had so many giftings and so many things that I could, we could utilize, but I couldn't afford to pay her for all of her knowledge in terms of she's been an intern, she's been running big artist businesses and things like that. And now she's working with one of our largest arts organizations in South Florida. I can't pay her for that kind of knowledge. But what we could do is, because she was already so invested in guiding gigs, is we could figure out a way that she could take advantage of all of the resources and we could take advantage of her skills. So she's now our 360 ambassador. Simone is the first person that will greet you when you join Guiding Gigs 360. She is now getting free access to everything. She's getting all the trainings. I wish she was here. She probably is with the baby right now. She's got this beautiful 2-year-old. So I know that when she watches this, she gets all access to everything. It was simply a barter system. I said, I can't offer you what I really, really want to offer you, which is a paid position, but I can offer you everything that is in our membership. And in return, she is giving back to the community. The same thing I can say for Charmaine Michelle. Charmaine is part of our 360 Gold program. And she would never tell you that she's a part of a team, but I'm telling you she's a part of the team. Why? Because nobody has supported and shared our live streams. No one has done more than her to share. So literally, she is basically kind of like our chief marketing officer, even if I never given her the title. She is the person that will say to everyone, this is why you should be a part of Guiding Gigs. And so I have 2 people here in my community that have graciously volunteered to be a part of this because they believe in the message. Now, who in your circle have you not asked to take part in your vision because you were like, oh, I can't pay them? Maybe there's other ways that you can give value for value. This is a huge thing that I'm going to keep preaching because I'm doing it in my podcast. I'm doing it now in my music. Value for value. There's not always a price tag attached. Sometimes the value is something different than simply the money that they could get. It's what they can contribute and they gain something from that. So that is why I really, really advocate for you to first, if you're looking for help inside your community or help for your team, look inside your community first, okay? Now, the second thing is going to surprise you because you're looking for people, right? You're looking to find a dream team of people who will help you. That's why I found Simone. Oh, and I forgot one more mention. Outside of Guiding Gigs, the same thing happened in another podcast that I'm doing, where one young lady who loves the podcast is now learning and helping us. It's not really an internship. It's kind of like an internship, but she's beyond an intern. She's way better than anyone that's just learning. She knows how to do this basically for a living, but she's helping out one of our other podcasts as well. So this has happened for a third time where a third team member has jumped in and decided to do actual working on the project simply because they want to bless the community and to provide value for value. Okay. Number 2, again, is going to surprise you because you might first say, well, you're asking to find a dream team of people, right? But I didn't necessarily specify that it had to be people. Sometimes the things that you need to do to get something on your dream team are going to involve automation and tools that replace or make people not as necessary. Because a lot of the work we're doing and that we're trying to find people to do, tools can do. And so the tools are absolutely a part of the team in a very interesting way, not an AI kind of way, just in a way that they fulfill a role that you don't have time for. And when you get that tool to fulfill that role, it would be just like calling up a person and saying, hey, can you handle this every week? Can you handle blank, blank, blank? So I'm going to tell you some of the tools I'm using that's also part of my team because they make that particular role on the team not necessarily something that a person has to do. So here's some of the tools that assist me in this. And by the way, if you want a list of this, this is where you definitely want to jump into the Inspired Creators collection. This is our $10 program a month where you can simply get the trainings and not necessarily the coaching. This is where I'll be sharing things like this particular slide. So you can get this later as well if you want to join the Inspired Creators collection. So Meet Edgar is probably my favorite example of this because Meet Edgar is my scheduler and it's the one that keeps sharing my social media even after the social media has been shared once. It's an automatic scheduler that comes back around, finds old posts and reposts them again. So because of Meet Edgar, excuse me, Yep, haven't talked this long in a while. So because of Meet Edgar, I don't have to hire someone to constantly make up social media posts because Meet Edgar goes back and finds old posts that are new to somebody because we all know Facebook does not show you everything. Meta does not show you everything. So a lot of these posts that go into the ether and never show up again, they're evergreen. So it could be a picture from me performing that I just want people to see it, and Edgar goes back and shows it again. Or it could be a YouTube video. Edgar goes back and shows it again. So this is where a tool is taking the place of someone that doesn't have to go through all of my social media content to find things. The same thing can be said for MiniChat. MiniChat, I know LaShonda loves this one. MiniChat is my answer for direct message because direct messages oftentimes comes time when I can't answer, right? Well, if I use MiniChat, that automatically can send a funnel of answers and take people to the right place and respond to their DMs. This is again saving me having someone who had to sit there and look for those DMs to come in from Instagram or Facebook. I'm doing this with my music performance event coming up. I already have 5 or 6 different funnels where people are requesting tickets and it's sending them to the right place. So these tools are part of the team. They replace a person. They keep a person from having to sit there on the phone, to having to sit there. I mentioned here also CapShow and Cast Magic for my podcast, StreamYard I'm using right now. Meta Business Suite is another scheduler. Here in ConvertKit, the email networking, Zapier and Clay, these are all things for networking. And these are all things that, again, help me stick with the information that I'm getting. It automates my emails. If there's Zapier, it connects all kinds of different tools. Clay is a cool tool that I've used for a long time now to kind of help keep up. And you know what I didn't put in? I didn't put in personal brain, but that's more for like measure. That's more like, that's like what you call, I got off track there. Personal brain is more for like data management and like keeping all my thoughts together. So that's another one that probably should go next to Clay. You can see a bullet was missing, so I forgot to put that one in. But that's where these tools come in to help me with that. And then there's scheduling. We all know that you need someone usually to help you schedule stuff. But what if you can't hire someone? Well, you get Calendly or SavvyCal, and then you connect it with your Google Calendar. Google Calendar actually does this by itself too. It can create areas where people can click a form, schedule their own time, meet you at a certain time, Zoom with you at a certain time. And this again replaces the need for someone to sit on the phone to answer calls and to schedule things. If people can self-schedule, you don't need to hire an assistant that's going to schedule all of your meetings because the meetings will be scheduled as long as your schedule's set up and you have your open places. People schedule themselves. So you don't need to hire somebody. You have the tool that's a part of the team. I hope this is making sense because this is what's been helping me again to run 4 different brands or podcasts and then about 8 different social media accounts and all this stuff is because I have a dream team of both people from my community and tools that assist. And then finally, here's the part that most people were thinking of when they saw me say that I had a dream team or how to find a dream team. Most people immediately think of freelancers, contractors, and I'd put in small letters. I didn't put interns here, but that would probably fit under this category. So these are the people you bring in outside of your community that are going to work with you. And this, again, this is not going all the way to employees. We're simply talking about the freelancers, the contractors, the people that you can hire on a project basis to help you with things. So let me tell you a little bit of a story about how I now I have 2 VAs that in different areas of my creative life that I work with, and both of them are in the podcasting realm. And one from God and Gigs does way more than just the podcast, but she has been with me now for 3 years, and that's Via. Via is amazing. Was our first VA here in God and Gigs and Paul Creative Services. And then also on the other side, where another podcast I'm doing, there is also a VA that works there. So I'm actually working with 2 different VAs. And this is coming from someone that was a solopreneur. And all of a sudden now I have 2 different VAs that are contracted, and I've hired other ones through my other businesses and through the church and stuff like that. So the thing that I want to first explain to you about the VA thing is that it is not about just being able to find the perfect person that's going to do all of your work for you. That's not what a VA is for. That's not what a freelancer is for. A freelancer or contractor is there to take a specific mission, a specific job, and to do it to a level that you couldn't do it. That's the only reason to hire someone as a freelancer contractor is not because you need to build this huge team. It's because there's specific roles. But here's what happens. As you build your team, specific roles get more and more specific, but those people also become more and more acquainted with your flow. So they're possibly able to take on more roles. This is why it's so important to pick the right people when you're building your dream team, to find the right kind of freelancers and contractors, because sometimes these people, like in my case, become much more than just a role player. So let's talk about where to find them. Where do you find these creators? I'm sorry, where do you find these contractors and freelancers? Well, first of all, you can ask fellow creators. This is the best way. Now, a lot of them, of course, are going to say, I don't want you to hire my person. But you can ask fellow creators, who are they working with or who do they recommend in certain areas? If you're looking for someone to build a website, if you're looking for someone to contract with you and to help you to get your social media together, if you're looking for someone for editing or posting, this is where asking other creators is the first way and the best way to get the right recommendations, because you know they know the kind of people that do good work. They're not going to send you to just anybody, especially if your community is strong. The second place, of course, most of us know about is online. These are freelance platforms. This is like Upwork and Fiverr. I think Fiverr is spelled with two R's versus two V's. Sorry about that. And Skillshare, I believe, is another one. I've used Upwork. I highly recommend Upwork. Fiverr is kind of like the Craigslist of finding freelancers. Sometimes you get one that's great, sometimes you don't. So this is where I would talk a little bit more. I will talk a little bit more about Upwork and how I've used it. And finally, there's local schools and colleges. This is where you can find interns. This is where you can find people who are just getting started and who are willing to work. And some of these young people coming out of these schools are 100% as good as anyone that has a degree, or probably better, maybe because they can focus on, if it's social media or whatever that project is, they might have a little more time to really give you something that you need. And more likely, they are interested in getting that experience, okay? So that they can put that on their resume and use it, so it's a mutual benefit. Now, when I first hired my VA, I did not know how to start. So I had to read some books. One of the books I read was called Who. I think it's by Jeff Surratt or Stewart. I'm not sure. I got to make sure I look that up. But Who talked about hiring A players. And this was something I didn't know anything about. So this is also a presentation that I did for Podfest. This is available if you want it. Also in the Inspired Creators Collection, I'll be putting it there. So the first thing you got to do is decide what are the tasks you want a team member or a VA to do. First of all, you got to pick the lowest hanging fruit. Don't pick something that's high level that you think someone's going to come in and just start doing for you because you don't like to do it. You can't start from the top. You got to start from the bottom. Take the tasks that you know you're not good at, but also are not necessarily hard to explain, and make sure you can start from there. But then the second step is also as important. You got to document what you do and what you want done. So I have a great tool I'll talk about in a second, but I'll just mention it, Scribe. Scribe is an amazing tool for clicking and keeping track of your screen when you have a certain digital thing that you want this person to do, so that they can follow along one step at a time. Some people use Loom, other things to record their own work. The key is you got to document your process so that you can show it to the next person and the next person after that. You're basically creating a standard operating procedure. Then finally, you want to delegate to that person. You want to pick someone who understands their niche, understands your niche, and has equal passion for your projects. And this is where God blessed me with people who really wanted to know and understand what I was doing. So when I first hired my VA, I was reading this book, Who. I was looking for A players. And so I saw a lot of people inside Fiverr and Upwork who had all these credentials and all these reviews. But then when I talked to them, and yes, I did in-person interviews with the people that made it to the final cut. First of all, there's this great list. I got to see if I have it still on Upwork of the things I was looking for. So I was very specific about what I was looking for. That's something you got to be able to do. to detail the actual job and not just say, I want somebody to help me. You got to be very clear about the role this person's going to fill. Then when I did the interview, here's the thing that I want to make sure that you understand. I think it's on the next slide. You delegate for fit, not necessarily experience. When I found Upwork and I found these people, I set the parameters, but I did not simply look for the person that had the most experience. Instead, in this case, I was looking for someone, as I mentioned here, who had the best alignment with my niche and showed real interest in seeing me succeed. This is how you get the right person for your dream team. Not just because they've done it a million times, not just because they're experienced, not because they work with this person or that person. Hire someone or contract with someone who has a passion for what you have a passion for and would do the extra work, even if it wasn't necessarily something that was benefiting them. Is that hard to find? Yes. Is it worth it? Yes. You got to make sure you don't get caught up in this idea that you have to find a person that has a ton of experience and works with everybody. Because if you train someone and teach them your way of doing things, it can be so much more valuable to you, as I found out for me, than simply getting someone that works with everyone and gets hired over and over again, but doesn't really put your work first. So this is something, a little quick tip that I think you should pay attention to. And by the way, when I was doing these same interviews, so I would interview these people who were giving responses to my Upwork requests. A lot of them were immediately trying to say like, "Oh, I can do this, I can do that," and something just didn't feel right. I think they were taking on too much. They were trying too hard to impress me. So this is kind of like a hiring discussion as well. I didn't just go for the same people that I thought would be most experienced. If I didn't think they had the right kind of feel, they weren't a 10, I was like, okay, we're not going to hire you. So this is how you get over that hump of feeling like you got to get the exact right person. Nope. You got to get the person that's passionate, is willing to learn, and then that person most likely will become the perfect candidate for your help. So in conclusion, you want to search your community. You want to use your tools to fill in the gaps for people. And then third, you want to hire when you're ready through Upwork, Fiverr, some of these other things. That's the third place where you can get those people. And if you take your time, you'll be able to find the people who will help you, support you, help you get to that next level because you were focused on the right things, bringing in the right people, and making sure that they were understanding of everything that they could do with you, but also do for themselves. Because just like we're seeing in our community, people, they're gaining just as much as they're getting. That's the goal of any of these situations where you want to get help to make your dream team a reality. Well, my friend, okay, so that was our vital signs. And we're 20 minutes in or 40 minutes in. And so now I want to get to lab work real quick. The lab work is what we talk about what is going right in guiding gigs. And maybe you have some things. And then, by the way, if you have any questions about what happened, either drop them in the chat or drop them in the comments if you're watching on replay. So lab work, what has been working for us? Well, I shared this on our written newsletter as well. Our LinkedIn efforts is really showing that there is a space for creatives inside of LinkedIn. And my example is where we have been helping a lot of different creators and just having more conversations there. And people are noticing that we are sharing good content on LinkedIn. And you know why LinkedIn is so much better? Because LinkedIn is not trying to steal our information like Facebook is. LinkedIn, I'm sure, does something. But Facebook is actively trying to build AI tools and use everything you share there. And they don't really build what you're building. If your people are not there, most likely you're just kind of like spinning your wheels on those social media platforms. That's why LaShonda is doing the LinkedIn Live workshop. And that's why I'm spending a lot more time on LinkedIn as well. So this is what's been working for us. Going to LinkedIn, posting more. And by the way, on LinkedIn, what works best, I think, that I've seen, is pictures that are just candid, random pictures of you, or they can be put together, but they're not the picture that automatically goes with the post. Just sharing what's going on seems to do really, really, really good. And then you can put a post long enough that tracks attention. So that would be my suggestion for the lab work. Go on LinkedIn, check it out, and then see if you can create a little more content where people will see it, because LinkedIn is just not the same place as it is on Facebook. Okay, so that's our lab work for today. And then our consult. I'm curious from some of you who either just watched this or maybe you're watching it now on replay. I'm curious on whether or not you have tried to build a team yet. So here's where you can share this in the comments. You can share this as well on social media. Have you tried to build a team? Do you feel you need a team? And where do you think you're deficient in terms of those things I talked about? Have you looked inside your community? Have you employed tools that will replace some of those roles? And have you looked for freelancers and or contractors? So if you haven't, let me know in the comments. If you have, let me know in the comments. That way we can talk about it and you guys can continue the conversation, because I believe many of you are just one helper away from getting through to the next level. You're just trying to do too much by yourself. So you're one helper away, but you got to say it. I got to go help. I got to go help somebody. I got to go find someone to help me. And I got to be honest, and I got to give them exactly what the rules are, but the rules may change. And if they're able to kind of like flow with you, this is where they can grow with you. So I would highly recommend you check that out. But yes, if you do not have a team member yet, let me know in the comments why you haven't got a team member yet, what you've done with your team members. Let's talk about this in the consult. Okay? And I don't see any comments right now, so we'll continue it and go on. Thank you for joining us over here on Instagram, Cami Speaks, and Cubase is cool. And last but not least, the prescription. So here's where I want you to do certain things, okay? Well, the first thing I want you to do is what I already just talked about. Find one person that you think could possibly help you on your team and just ask them, hey, have you ever thought about blank? Have you ever thought about, and then just fill in the blank of the thing that you think that they might want to do and want to enjoy doing. And I'm surprised, I won't be surprised if they say, I would love to do that. I would love to do that for you. And you just haven't asked them because you feel like asking means you got to pay them or whatever. Now, again, hopefully you get to that point one time. But at the beginning, just doing the barter system, just saying, what can I do for you while you help me? This is a beautiful way to start the freelancing journey and the hiring and the contracting and all that kind of stuff. Then, after you do that, I do want you to remember a couple of other prescriptions that we talked about at the beginning. And so I'm going to jump all the way back. See if I can jump back. Remember that another goal for me is to get you into a group which will allow you to be able to figure these things out. So again, I will remind you, another prescription is our back to school 50% off for gold membership at Summer of Success. I'm sorry, it's not Summer of Success. It's guidandgigs.com/summer24. All right. Now, by the way, if you wanted to just get the templates and you didn't want to deal with any coaching or you didn't want to do that, there is a way to do that. And that's to go to guidandgigs.com/inspired. And that's only $10 a month to do that. But that's just the templates and the videos. That's all you get in that particular program. That's $10 a month all the time. So you can go to guidandgigs.com/inspired. But if you want to get the major coaching, you want to go to guidandgigs.com/summer24. We're doing, oh my gosh, there's so many cool things we're doing inside the membership. I can't talk about them all at one time. But that is one of them. One of them is sharing what we're doing together to help each other grow, helping each other in our coaching calls, and then making sure we all have access to our established creative experts to answer any questions you have about things like this, things like promotion, things about marketing, things about getting record deals and getting podcasting deals and sponsorships and things like that. All of that happens inside Guiding Gigs 360 Gold, because that's where we actually bring in the people live to talk about it. So that's what that is there. That's the second prescription. I think the third prescription was the LinkedIn Live Masterclass. That's right. To remember to sign up for that at lashondabrown.com/LinkedIn Live Masterclass. All right, my friends. Well, we are about done unless I have some questions. I'm going to look over here. It's 1:46. We're right on time. So if there's any questions about anything I covered, including how to hire, how I hired, what are the pitfalls of hiring people in terms of the contracts? Should I be worried about being able to afford them? And by the way, I'll just answer that one real quick. I am still at this point, I've given my VAs a couple of raises, at least one of them that I work with regularly. And as my position grows and as my business grows, I'm hoping to pay her more. but don't get stuck on the budget. Figure out what you can do for this person, even if it's right now a just a, I'll wash your dishes, whatever. Try to figure out something that allows you to be able to do the barter system with these people. Okay. Then, like I said, make sure that you sign up for the LinkedIn Live monetization class. This is very, very cool, and you're going to love this. But again, I'm going to ask for any other questions, anything else. I'm going to go over here and scan. Thank you so much, LaShonda, for jumping in. Once again, this was perfect. I know you could talk about this all day long. And if I had any questions, I would probably defer them to you as far as the team, your amazing team at Bootstrap, along with your husband and Life Pictures and everything you guys have built. So I know you know better. I am the novice in growing a team. But it is funny. Like, I turned around. It really was yesterday, I think it was, at my church. And I said, oh my gosh, I have like a whole set of people that I have to keep track of. My God and Gigs VA, my VA that helps with the My Morning Devotional, the other podcast that I do at the church. And then now I have a third person that's coming along through the community. As I mentioned, through the community, she's going to be helping with our podcast, A Family Business. So that's a third person that I'm working with. And all these channels are done, and everybody's working through Scribe. I didn't mention Scribe. Did I mention Scribe? Do you know about Scribe, LaShonda? I wonder. Because I love Scribe. I don't use Loom. I use Scribe, and I just do the screenshots, and that has been amazing for me to help my VAs. Because all I have to do, they don't have to actually watch the video. All they have to do is just go and watch individual things, and it literally says click here, click here, click here, click here, and it records all of your things. So you might want to check them out. I don't know if they sponsor or if but Scribe is amazing. I love Scribe. I think it's scribehow.com. I think that's what it is. Actually, I'm going to look it up real quick, because this is a tool that is absolutely indispensable for anyone that is doing that's hiring VAs. Yep, there it is. Scribe.how. I'm going to do a screen share real quick. Why not? Share screen. So yes, if you're looking to hire somebody and you need to create like a standard operating procedure really fast, this is my favorite thing. I talk about it more in the presentation I did for Podfest, which again is in the Inspire Creators collection. Okay, but this is a really, really cool tool that you can use that immediately allows you to simply take screenshots. You see right there, you type on something, and it circles it and it shows you where you click, insert name, and it just goes boom, 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 boom. And it's so cool. I love using this for my virtual assistants. So if you're interested in that, I would definitely suggest you check out Scribe before you get into it. And again, you have a system of doing whatever it is. Document the process, document what you do. I didn't think I needed to document any of this stuff, right? And then all of a sudden, here I am with people I need to explain this to, and I didn't immediately have the people or the processes written down. So I had to catch up. So before you hire, I should have talked about this at the beginning. Before you get the people, go ahead and document your processes. Document it from the get-go, because you just never know when a community member is going to come along and they're going to say, oh, I would love to do this for you. Tell me how to do it. And you're like, I got to get on the video and show you step by step. Use Scribe, use something else, document your process so that when you finally get that person, you're not scrambling. So that's a huge thing that I didn't mention that I probably should have mentioned. All right, awesome. Oh, let me see. Just saw an ad for them the other day. Okay. And yes, it is an amazing tool for SOPs. It is literally like, I will tell you right now, I have all of my God and Gigs, like everything from Canva to how I want my thumbnails done. That is how I do, pretty much everything that I've sent to somebody else and said, do blank, 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 blank. This is what I use. So yeah, I highly, highly, highly recommend Scribe for VAs, because again, I understand how people do like to record the videos, but to me, like, it just seems like, okay, like you're watching it, but why not just like show them directly, click here. So they don't have to watch the mouse click here. You just have it like there. and then they know where to click, and then they just follow along. So it's been indispensable. So that's a great tool I'll mention. Just, again, no affiliate that I know of. I just wanted y'all to have that. All right, you guys, we are coming up to the end. I appreciate LaShonda for dropping in and some other folks that dropped in as well. And remember, if you want to take advantage of our back to school 50% off, this only happens during the back to school time. And I honestly did not set a final date. So you're kind of like in that window where you can kind of grab it whenever, but I'm going to set the deadline probably Monday. Probably going to be Monday, where that'll be the last day for you to get the membership. But again, we're doing some cool things inside the membership. Mighty Networks is on fire. They're doing incredible stuff. They just added 2,000 embeds. 2,000 embeds. So anything you want to post inside the membership now, there's an embed for that, right? Used to be there's an app for that. Now there's an embed for that. So I've been having fun. I posted my Calendly links there. I posted all of my YouTube stuff. I was able to post in my other membership, which uses Mighty Networks. I was able to post a podcasting 2.0 app, which no one has ever heard of, and it still worked, which means now I can integrate like any app I'm using into a membership. Like that's insane. Like any app now can be a part of the membership because all I have to do is embed it. And now I can show any content I want inside 360, which is why LaShonda knows I'm giving them one more chance, because I really, really, really love this tactic and this ability to kind of sync up anything I'm working with. So I'm going to be, again, this is a glow up for the God and Gigs 360. And we just got Claudette in there, and we already have Charmaine and Simony and Pamela. And so they're already there hanging out. Pamela's, I think, is a member of Bootstrap as well. So we're hanging out there. We're doing amazing stuff, and we're growing as creators, learning how to balance our spiritual health, our mental health, and our physical health. By the way, physical health is still a part of that, just like we talked about in the last live stream. So we're doing all that in 360. And so I really would love for you to join us in that. So again, not a long-term deal. Summer's over. This will be over, and no more 50% off for our membership. But some people are blessed by it every single week, and our bi-monthly member calls and all of the details that we share in there. All right, my friends, I think I'm going to go ahead and sign off for tonight and today. But thank you so much for joining me. I'm here every Friday, except the Friday coming up. I think the end of the month, I will not be here. Please a prayer for our family, as we're going to be going through some things in our family. We got to do some medical stuff. So I will be with that, dealing with that. And so there will be no creative checkup on the week of the 29th, I think, or 30th. That's the 30th. So the 30th, no creative checkup that day. Okay, we might just go ahead and release something early, but it won't be a live stream. So just keep that on your calendars if you're looking for us there. And let me give a quick little look at Instagram. Oh, had some more folks that jumped in. Cami Speaks. Christine was here. Sorry I didn't see you, Christine. And Radical Shah. Good to see you as well. And some other folks that joined us on Instagram. So you guys need to come over here to YouTube, because there won't be a replay on Instagram. It'll be over on YouTube. All right, my friends. God bless you guys. So I will see you next week. Look out for our podcast episode on Mondays. Creative Checkup. The newsletter on Wednesdays, which you can get at godandgigs.com/info. Also did a revamp of that page. I'm very excited about that. That page is also redone, and ConvertKit allowed me to just do one click, and it looked amazing, and it's like beautiful. So I'm very proud of these pages. They are all looking amazing, but I want to make sure that they're available for you. So that's where you get the newsletter, godandgigs.com/info. And then, of course, Fridays, we are here for the Creative Checkup Live. God bless you guys. Until next time, continue to become the creative that you were created to be. We'll see you next week. Take care.